Welcome everybody. We are talking about bearings and clutches, and right now we are discussing different types of bearing supports. So last time we saw three basic types of supports: flat pivot, collar pivot and conical pivot. After that we have derived some expressions, and after that we applied those expressions to two cases. Case number 1 flat pivot, case number 2 collar pivot. Now today we will see conical pivot, how to work out power loss in friction in the case of conical pivot. So let us see this case. This is the third case, conical pivot. Now we have drawn a figure of conical pivot like this. So this is the shaft, this is the end of the shaft, and the end of the shaft is given a conical shape like this. Now this conical shape is resting in a similar conical shape which is provided into the support. So this conical surface is working as a bearing surface, and there is going to be friction existing over here which is going to cause some amount of power loss. So how much amount of power is lost here, that is what we are going to evaluate by way of solving certain equations. See how this is done. So just like last time, we have to take one small strip at a distance r, at a radius r, and the width of the strip is dr. That means here from this point to this point, that is the distance r, and then from here to here, as you can see dr is written here along the direction of the radius, horizontal direction, the distance between these two lines is dr. That means this surface, if you see, the surface is inclined, but the vertical view or the top view of this inclined surface, this is the top view of the inclined surface. So this top view is representing the small radius dr. So r and dr, like what we had done last time, that is present in this case, r and dr, but dr is here and the surface is here, that difference is there. See, this is dr and this is the actual surface. So the projection of the actual surface, this is the surface which we are talking, and this much is the distance dr which we are taking for the purpose of calculations. So under this condition, there is a conical angle given here as alpha. So because of this conical angle, how this geometry is worked out, that is what we are going to see. So if this is dr, then this inclined surface comes out as dr upon sine alpha. If you solve this geometry for this triangle, because this becomes alpha, therefore this is dr upon sine alpha. So what is the area of the elemental ring? So the small ring which is created, complete circle of size with a radius r and the width is dr upon sine alpha. So the area of this small ring is 2 pi r and into dr upon sine alpha. So this becomes the area of this surface. Now since the pressure intensity is given as P, this pressure is applied perpendicular to this surface. That means on this surface, this is the pressure applied. So this same diagram is drawn, only the diagram is drawn reverse. That means we are showing on this side what happens. It is this and this is same. So this is the surface whose length is dr upon sine alpha, and then on this surface there is a pressure applied is dP. So now we can say that the normal force, the force that is acting perpendicular to the surface, perpendicular to the surface means like this. So this force is given by pressure into area. So this is the area which we have calculated, and multiply that area by pressure. So this becomes the perpendicular force. Now the vertical component of the perpendicular force, see what we have calculated is this force. Now it will have a vertical component. So that vertical component is sine alpha of this, sine of this particular force, sine of vertical force. So vertical force, and when you take sine alpha of the vertical force, then it becomes vertical force which is parallel to the axis. This is perpendicular to the surface, this is parallel to the axis, means parallel to the axis. So the vertical force which is parallel to the axis is given by this force multiplied by sine alpha. Because of that, sine alpha gets cancelled, and the vertical component of the force, that means what is acting vertical like this on the surface, that is P 2 pi r dr. P 2 pi r dr. Now the total vertical force is integration. So total vertical force, if you integrate, you will get total force. So P 2 pi r dr, we are integrating, the limit of integration is from 0 to r. So from 0 to R1, R1 is the total radius, highest radius. So 0 to R1, P 2 pi R dr, that is the vertical force. Now next thing is, we are going to find out the frictional force. Now frictional force will be mu into the force which is perpendicular to the surface. So if this is the force perpendicular to the surface, we have just now found out the force which is perpendicular to the surface is this force. This force is perpendicular to the surface. So we have taken that force and multiplied that force by pressure. So this force multiplied by, rather this area into pressure is the force. Now this force is multiplied by mu, then you are going to get horizontal frictional force. And this horizontal frictional force is at a radius r. So that gives us the moment of force, that means the torque. So this is similar to dt. So the torque which is acting is because of, suppose I hold the pencil perpendicular to the paper, then this perpendicular pencil is representing mu into force. So this is the force which is acting perpendicular to the surface, and mu into F is this force which is acting along the surface, along this surface like this. Along the surface is like this. So vertical force is, but the force which is perpendicular to the surface is P 2 pi R dr upon sine alpha, P 2 pi R dr upon sine alpha, multiply that by mu to get vertical, to get a force along the surface, and multiply this the force along the surface by radius is going to give you the torque that is available like this around the circumference. So the small torque on the ring is equal to this much. Now this is written in the form of equation. When you integrate, this becomes T, and T is equal to this formula. So T is equal to integration of 2 mu P pi R square dr sine alpha. Now R square is because this R and this R makes it R square. 2 is there, pi is there, P is there, mu is there. 2 mu P pi R square dr sine alpha upon sine alpha. So that is the torque. So we got similar equations like last time for this case. So second equation is for T, torque, and the first equation, this is for W. So the vertical load, what we are given W as a load, so that load is given by P 2 pi R dr from 0 to R1, and the torque is given by 2 mu P pi R square dr by sine alpha, limit from 0 to R1, that is T. So once you know the W and T expressions, this is number 1 for W, number 2 is for torque. Once you know these two expressions, now we are going to be, now we are in a position to find out the values for the two theories. So now we start the two theories, applying two theories. First theory is assuming uniform pressure condition. So when you apply uniform pressure theory to these equations, we are going to get a condition where you will be finding out the torque acting and the power lost. So how do we go about? We take this equation, first equation first. So W is equal to same equation. W is equal to integration from 0 to R1 of P 2 pi R dr. So when you solve this, it becomes P pi R1 square. So P pi R1 square is the vertical load, and this vertical load is area into pressure. Now you will see here that the intensity of pressure intensity is independent of angle of cone. That means what you have seen here, W is equal to P pi R1 square. We have got similar expression even in the first case. If you remember, this was the first case. So even in the first case, we got W is equal to P pi R1 square for this case. So now it is quite obvious also, pressure into area. What is the area of circle? Area of circle is pi R1 square. So area into pressure is the load, which was the case over here, and same thing, area into pressure is vertical load applied, that is W. So angle has not come into picture at all. So whatever is the angle, that is not affecting this formula. Now the next thing is, that is what is written here. Now the next thing is the second equation of torque. So torque equation says integration from 0 to R1 mu P 2 pi R square dr upon sine alpha. So same expression we are written here, and then we start solving it. R remains inside and anything other than R remains outside the integration sign. So mu P 2 pi and sine alpha, that is outside the integration sign, and inside the integration there is only r square dr. So r square dr, if you integrate, it becomes r cube by 3. So the net result is r cube by 3 and all this. So you can say 2/3, this 2 and this 3, 2/3, then mu p pi r1 cube upon sine alpha. So 2/3 mu p pi r1 cube upon sine alpha, 2/3 mu p pi r1 cube upon sine alpha becomes the torque that is acting in this case. So knowing the torque and knowing W, if you divide T by W, then you get the expression like this. And by cancelling certain terms and writing T in terms of W, it gives us T is equal to 2/3 of mu W R1 upon sine alpha. Mu W R1 upon sine alpha. Now like last time, we are separating mu W because mu W is horizontal force, and then whatever is the term comes, that is the radius term. So in this case, mu and W, if you eliminate, then 2/3 R1 upon sine alpha. So this R is 2/3 of R1 upon sine alpha. So this becomes the effective radius. That means mu into W is acting at this much radius. So the effective radius is 2/3 R1 upon sine alpha, which you might see in the next page. So you can see here, effective radius at which the frictional force is acting is 2/3 of R1 upon sine alpha. Same thing like what we have seen last time. So this was the case and we have worked it out. Now, if the pivot is truncated, the meaning of truncated means it is cut. So I'll show that. It is not drawn here, but I'll show that. So what it means is, this is the cone and there is a contact surface only up to this much. So like last time the whole surface was in contact, now there is an open space here. That means the surface is in contact only here and here. So in such case, what is difference? The difference is the expressions will come same. W is equal to pi 2 pi r dr. T is equal to mu p 2 pi r square dr upon sine alpha, but the difference comes in integration sign limits. Last time the limits were from r1 to 0. This is even now also this is r1, and last time the inside radius, this point was here, so inside radius was 0. This time this is going to be r2. So the limit is from r1 to r2. So r1 has come here, r2 has come here. So the integration limits have changed. Last time this was 0. So we are, in other words, learning the application of integration. You must have learned integration in mathematics. Here we are seeing the application, how we are applying integration for solving the technical problems. So the load W is given by P2 pi r dr from R1 to R2. Now we keep the R terms inside and other than R terms outside the integration sign. So integration sign will come here. Integration of r dr. Now integration of r dr is r square by 2. And when you apply these limits, then it becomes r1 square minus r2 square upon 2. And this 2 gets cancelled. So the final expression is pi p r1 square minus r2 square. Pi p r1 square minus r2 square. Now what is r1 square minus r2 square? It is the surface area, projection of the surface area. That means this conical surface, if you see from top, then it will look like this. So the same surface what I have shown by red, from top it will be seen like this, where this is R2 and this is R1. And the area will be pi R1 square minus pi R2 square. That is exactly what has come. Multiply that area by pressure, which is going to give you load, and that is the load which is acting here, W. So same thing has come, it is irrespective of angle. Only the difference is R2 has come here. If you make R2 equal to 0, then it comes to the earlier case where this point comes here. So that was about the load. Now let's see what happens to the torque. Torque again, same expression, the limit has changed R1 to R2. Last time this was 0, now it is R2. So when you solve this, it becomes R1 cube minus R2 cube upon 3. Last time it was only R1 cube because R2 was 0. Now R1 cube minus R2 cube upon 3. So that expression comes 2/3. See, this is 2, this is 3. So 2/3 of mu upon sine alpha. We are making T upon W. So certain things like P and mu, it is getting cancelled. So what remains is 2 and mu upon 3 and sine alpha, and in the bracket it is R1 cube minus R2 cube upon R1 square minus R2 square, which is coming from W. So this is T in terms of W. So when you take W on this side, whatever expression comes, that is T equal to W into so and so, whatever it comes. So we have written expression T in terms of W. I have not written it, but it will come accordingly, where there will be R2 present, which was not there in the earlier case because R2 was 0. So that was the uniform pressure condition. Once we know torque, then power lost is equal to 2 pi n T, 2 pi nt by 60. So out of that T will be this, other things are there, and you can get the value of power lost. Now let's see the next case, that is uniform wear case. The next here is uniform wear case. That means we assume that there is going to be uniform wear condition and not uniform pressure condition. And then how do we work about for the power lost? So first thing is, wear means pressure into radius is constant. Basically pressure and velocity. Velocity is nothing but it is related to radius. So PR constant. So P into R we represent by small c. So starting with the initial equation, W is equal to P 2 pi R dr, integration from 0 to R1, and then keeping only R inside the integration and solve, that gives you, and then P and R they are combined, which is constant. So 2 pi c is outside, and inside the integration only dr remains. So integration of dr is R and the limit is R1. So R1. So 2 pi c R1, 2 pi c R1, that is the load which is acting in the case of a wear, if we go by uniform wear condition. Now let's see what happens to the torque. So the same torque equation is written here, and for putting the integration sign, what we do is P into R. See, earlier it was R square. Out of that R square, one R is combined with P and other R is remaining behind. So this P into R is representing C, and this R remains in the integration sign. This C is a constant. So mu 2 pi C sin alpha, it is outside the integration sign, and this integration comes here. So integration of R dr, which is R1 square upon 2. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So accordingly you will get the net result. So 2 pi C mu, 2 has gone, pi C and mu. So you can see here pi C and mu upon sin alpha and R1 square. So pi C mu upon sin alpha R1 square, that becomes the torque. So we got W and we got T for this case. Then we, as usual, find out T upon W. Now T upon W comes as, when you solve all this, you have written T, below that you have written W, and when you cancel some of the terms, then that gives us half W mu R1 upon sin alpha. Half W mu upon mu R1 upon sin alpha, and out of that mu and W, if you separate, then the remaining is R1 upon 2 sin alpha. So this R1 upon 2 sin alpha becomes effective radius. So the effective radius is this, and the force that is acting at this radius is mu into W. So mu into W is acting at this radius, which is causing the torque. That is what this means. In fact, it should not be equal to here. There should be T equal to, and then this, because W is taken, this W is taken on this side. So it is T equal to, not this whole thing equal to. And then for the truncated case, in the case of truncated cone, R2 is existing. So this expression changes to R1 minus R2. Here R2 was 0, but now R2 will be there if it is a truncated pivot, like what we have done this in this case last time. Truncated case. So for truncated case, 2 pi C R1 minus R2. For the case without truncated shape, 2 pi C R1 and 2 pi C R1 minus R2. Similarly, this torque will change R1 square minus R2 square upon R1 minus R2. See, last time R1 square was above and R was below, and then it got cancelled. Now there will be R1 square minus R2 square also, and here there will be R1 minus R2 also. And then this you can simplify, and when see, you know, this is R1 plus R2 into R1 minus R2. So out of that R1 minus R2 gets cancelled, and what is left is R1 plus R2. Accordingly, this can be written. That is happening in the case of wear. So we can write here T is equal to half mu W upon sine alpha R1 plus R2. So that is the torque, and this is the load in the case of a truncated pyramid, or rather truncated cone, and for uniform wear condition. So we have seen both uniform wear we have seen, and we have also seen uniform pressure earlier for the third case. So right now we have seen two cases each of all the three. Two types each of all the three cases. So case 1, constant pressure, constant wear. Case 2, constant pressure, constant wear. Case 3, constant pressure, constant wear. So we have seen 3 into 6 different cases we have seen for the pivot. So 3 pivots and 2 theories. So 6 different cases we have resolved, and we have found out the torques and the load in case of 6 conditions, different conditions. Now having done all this, we have found out the power lost, power that is involved in this. In all the 6 cases, after finding out torque, we have put that torque equation in 2 pi nt by 60 and found out the power. Now what do we do with this power? That is the next part. So let us see how do we work about with the power.